Is Jordan Carter, Playboi Carti, secretly Led Zeppelin, English rock band? You might be saying, Mr. Goat, how do you come up with these questions? Where'd you get this from? I ripped it straight out my asshole. And at first it was just like, I like this artist, I like that artist, let's see if we can mishmash them together, you know, different eras, different genres and whatnot. But upon further inspection, they're actually kind of similar. At first I thought like, silly idea, you know, woohoo, you know, nice little giggle. But now I'm thinking about it, they're actually pretty close. Excuse the dirty room, but I'm no longer living in here, so I'm not really cleaning it as frequently. I'm now living in my living room. If you guys want a tour, when we hit 1,600 subscribers, I'll give you one, but only if we hit 1,600 within 3 days of this video being posted. Living room tour at 1,600 subs if we get it in the right amount of time. Anyway, I have my pen and my paper. Let's get right into it with the Led Zeppelin, Playboi Carti comparisons. I have 7 major commonalities and no minor ones. That's just the only commonalities I found that are big enough to mention in a video. I have those 7 and they span from like lyrics to like vibes to like aesthetic to... Let's just get into them. Let's see what they span across. The number one thing according to ChatGPT, my great friend, because you know, I did research on this, but I didn't really sit there looking through articles and shit. The number one thing is that both artists, Led Zeppelin and Playboi Carti, and I don't know if Led Zeppelin qualifies as an artist, but we'll call him an artist. They both lean heavy into the vibes of their music versus the lyrical aspects of their music. You take a storyteller like Jay-Z. I don't know if he tells stories, but we'll just use him as an example. Say he does. Jay-Z is a lyrical demon, okay? I don't think he is, but we'll say he is. A guy like Playboi Carti is not a lyrical demon. He just kind of yaps on the beat, but it sounds good, so I play it sometimes. Led Zeppelin doesn't really tell many stories here. They have ideas of concepts of like overall tone to the music, but it is really just about the vibes, especially in their earlier albums. So when ChatGPT, my great friend, brought this up to me, I was kind of amazed. I was like, wow, I never really thought of that before. Led Zeppelin will dive deep into like the riffs and the fucking drums and every instrument you can name, they dive deep into that, you know, but the lyrical side of it, even the guy's voice, Robert Plant, I hope, even his voice is like, it's pretty wacky, you know, at times. It's almost, it acts as an instrument itself. Carti's production, out the roof, obviously, and Carti's voice itself on some of those ad-libs and shit. Hey, I'm no Picasso, but I'm connecting the pieces. The number 2 thing, and obviously I'm a young lad, I'm about 16 years of age, pushing 17 though, stick around for my birthday stream coming up very soon. But I'm a young lad, obviously I was not alive during the time Led Zeppelin was even like together as a band, let alone releasing music. They might have released like a compilation album during my time as a person living on this earth, but that's about it. So, by no means did I see them when they were in their prime doing all this shit. But, according to ChatGPT, Playboi Carti and Led Zeppelin both had, like, similar aura to them. Mystique and vibes, specifically. I know we just touched on vibes, but talking about the press specifically. But Carti doesn't really interact with the press that much. You know, he does to an extent. But for the most part, he stays out of the spotlight, like... Technically, while he's still in the spotlight, he stays out of it on just his words. You're not seeing many Playboi Carti interviews. Allegedly, Led Zeppelin was kind of the same, where the band themselves, they didn't really go on TV. They didn't go sit down and do interviews with people. They weren't like that. And to be fair, it was a different time where, like, sure, if they were around today, I'm sure they'd hop on fucking Joe Rogan podcast. But back then, you know, they had like 4 channels, you know what I'm saying? So there wasn't much opportunity anyways, but still, they weren't getting interviewed. The members of the band themselves weren't really out there. People don't really know about them. They knew they existed, but they didn't really know about them. Similar to how we know Carti exists, but what does Carti even do? When my great friend ChatGPT brought that up to me, my mind went poof, you know, wow, you know what I'm saying? The third most prevalent thing on here is that they both genre blended. If you're not a musical guy, you might know that. Fuck! If you're not a musical guy, you might not know what genre blending means. And to be fair, I'm kind of just making the term, throwing it out there. But basically, we take Led Zeppelin. They took all kinds of genres. They took like blues, hard rock, light rock, if that's a genre, like psychedelic shit. They took like country, folk, you know, all kinds, probably 10, 12 genres that you can argue with a good case that they just fused into their music. Look at Carti, he does the same. He has trap, he has punk, like rap kind of stuff. He has the SoundCloud auto-tune rap. He has like the whole like sub-genre of rap that he created, like the opium rappers, the underground modernly. He has all these genres that he too fuses together to make what he has as his rap style, his rap career. The fourth subject on this list is the wacky vocal stims, and that wasn't from ChatGPT. This is just me kind of putting that term out there. The way you'll see Robert Plant singing and interacting with his Valerian tubes during the various sessions that the band Led Zeppelin held from the 1960s to 70s, you're gonna see him, like, he's gotta be strumming on those strings. He's making some wild noises. Play the clip.
Oh! Ooh!
And then look at Carti. Carti does the same, just in a more modern setting. Play the clip.
How's that?
Number 5 on this list. They both have extreme fan bases, or had. Led Zeppelin still has a huge fan base. I'm sure they have like 40 million monthly listeners on Spotify. They might have more than Carti currently. I don't think they do, but they really could. It's probably close. And obviously I'm a youngster, as I said earlier. I wasn't really around for this, but they had to have had some motion back in the day. There were girls fainting when Michael Jackson took the stage. Just 10 years earlier, when Led Zeppelin was in their prime, there had to have been at least one girl who just, ooh. If me fainting on camera looked cool, that's cool. If it didn't, oh yeah, kill me. Kill me. What I'm saying though is they both have cult-like followings to an extent. Like, I'm a Carti fan myself, but I'm not jumping off a bridge for Carti. There's somebody out there that would literally jump off a bridge for Jordan Carter if it meant he would get to do something. I don't know. And there's people back in the day that would probably do the same for Zeppelin. So, kind of scratching the surface on that topic, but I want to move on so this video doesn't take an eternity. But you get what I'm saying. But y'all get what I'm saying for sure, hopefully. Only 2 more things on this list. Number 6, the live show intensity. Of course, I've never been to a Led Zeppelin concert. I've seen footage of these events, you know, I've heard footage. Sometimes when I listen to their songs, I listen to the live versions, just because I think they're cool. Not all the time, but like Dazed and Confused has a 25-minute live version on Spotify. Okay. And then obviously I've seen footage of Carti concerts. I've never been to one myself, obviously, but I've seen the footage of them. So the people at the Zeppelin concerts might be tripping out. The people at the Carti concerts might be tripping out as well. It's not crazy for an artist to have this kind of vibe at their concert, especially if they have diehard fans in there and shit. You know, if you're getting tickets to a concert for an artist, you better like him a lot. Or her, or her, or her, or them, okay? We don't discriminate at MrGoat. We do not discriminate. What do you think I got this feminist hat for? But yeah, so it's not insane. That's why it's at the bottom of this list more so. But they do have similar aesthetics at their concerts where the people, they're raging, for lack of a better term. And finally, number 7, the overall aesthetic of these bands, what we've covered in the last 6 topics, really melts down into, like, they are really similar in a lot of ways. And they don't differ a whole lot. Like, obviously there's the aspect of genre and that kind of stuff, but when we take that away and we just look at their impact on the pop culture of their times, they really are a lot alike. I started this idea as like a silly like joke almost, like I would sit there and maybe a short or something and, oh, Led Zeppelin, but no, I actually really think they have the same level of impact. Obviously, Led Zeppelin has a lot of longevity to the point where their songs are at least like 50 years old, most of them at this point, and they're still like relevant enough today. You know, they're not in the mainstream quite. They haven't made music for 40 years, obviously for a good reason, but they haven't really fallen off is what I'm trying to say. Carti will have a lasting impact on the society. Obviously, Lil Uzi will have a bigger impact because Lil Uzi is better. Lil Uzi washes Carti every time they collab. Lil Uzi is that man. But Carti will stick around for a while too. So the overall aesthetic and impact they have, I think, is huge on the culture. And it really does boil down to being roughly the same. Anyway, if you want to see more wacky videos like this, hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 1,600 subscribers.
That's about it. See ya.